One crypto influencer says that when XRP hits $21, we should watch the world flip. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it sure did to me, until I dug deeper and discovered a twist that even had this skeptic second guessing. I'm about to share how I went from rolling my eyes at that bold XRP prediction to actually thinking that it might not be so far-fetched. Now, in this story, we're going to explore why some believe that XRP could smash through $21, triggering shockwaves across crypto, why others called it pure fantasy, and the clues from XRP's past that changed my perspective. By the end, you might just find yourself as torn and intrigued as I am, and if you want to chat about all of this or maybe even learn more, you want to join the free educational Discord. The link is in the description. The other day, I'm scrolling through X, Twitter, and stumbled on a post from crypto Bitlord. This is an influencer with nearly 500,000 followers, right? Now, he's hyping up the XRP community, one of the largest crypto communities on Earth, by the way, and he drops the bombshell. When XRP smashes through $21 this cycle, watch the world flip. Yes. $21. Now, for context, XRP's price right now has pulled back quite a bit, so hitting $21 means more than 700% gains from where we are today. Now, my first thought was, is this guy serious? I wasn't alone. Sure, the XRP Army is pretty massive, over 7.16 million XRP holders worldwide, and famously quite vocal. But a jump to $21 is huge. Now, if XRP ever did hit that, I agree, the reaction would be pretty insane. Perhaps world flipping in the crypto sense. But still, over 700% is a pretty tall order, even in the wild world of cryptocurrency. Now, naturally, the post sparked a bit of a frenzy and a bit of a debate. The reactions they poured in, some were hyped. Who wouldn't want to see their XRP bags go over 10x, right? But plenty were skeptical, to kind of put it mildly. Now, one commentator straight up said $21 sounds like a meme price in a bear market, basically calling Bitlord's prediction a joke. Now, he suggested that Bitlord might just be hoping for moon vibes instead of basing it on reality. Now, another user, someone named Logan, chimed in saying that $21 feels like we're chasing a myth at this point. Ouch. And yet, even Logan couldn't help adding, the pump might just surprise us all. A tiny glimmer of hope maybe in the skepticism. Even members of the XRP Army, the diehards, had some doubts. One prominent XRP community voice, House of XRP, joked that XRP won't reach $4 this year, let alone $21. Now, he even kind of quipped that some no-name crypto probably has a better chance of hitting $21 than XRP does. Talk about pretty savage honesty from your own team, right? Well, at this point, I was nodding along with the skeptics, right? And did feel like typical kind of crypto hopium, extreme optimism with very little basis. $21 in the current cycle. Really? But then Bitlord clapped back with something that hit me pretty hard. He reminded everyone about late 2024, because back then, people were also saying that XRP will never reach $1. And to be fair, at the time it sounded pretty reasonable, didn't it? XRP was stuck in that 50 to 70 cent range, barely moving, while Bitcoin was making off to new highs. Now, in fact, XRP was one of the worst performing major cryptocurrencies around then. Sentiment was, of course, in the gutter, very similar to now. And many of us, not myself, but many, had actually started to lose hope. Now, $1 seemed like a fairy tale when we were under 70 cents. Then, almost out of nowhere, depending on who you were paying attention to, November 2024 changed everything, didn't it? XRP defied all of those doubters. It broke past $1, then $2, and by January, it had surged over $3, yes, from under $1 to $3 plus in just a couple of months. Now that 700% rally caught everyone off guard. I vividly remember staring at the price chart almost in disbelief had I not been paying attention earlier. As kind of XRP did blast off from the US election. Now, one moment I was, trying to curb the frustration at the XRP community because, it was kind of XRP was lagging behind, right? And then the next thing, we're watching the price triple in value. It was kind of a surreal moment in the crypto space. Everyone who was on crypto Twitter back then was saying that $1 was impossible, except here on this channel, it wasn't. And suddenly, quiet, and Bitlord himself was quick to kind of tweet that they said it won't go to $1. Remember that. He had the receipts after all, and the lesson was quite clear. Never say never in crypto. Right? We've been burned by the impossible becoming reality many times before. So here I am, thinking $21 is a little outrageous. And then I get this deja vu. If XRP could go from 50 cents to $3, then what is to say that it can't go from, $2.50 to $21 someday? Now, the scale is much bigger, of course, sure, but the principle is rather much the same. It's big, sure, right? Sudden moves can, and they do happen from time to time, especially when catalysts line on up. And at this point in my journey, I'm no longer dismissive of the idea. I'm no longer dismissive at all, in fact, right? The curiosity, got the better of me. I'm curious, cautiously optimistic, shall we say. Maybe it's not so crazy after all. But hold on. This is where we have to keep it real with all of you guys. This might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile, and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Alright, so now that we've got that important disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about why some people think that XRP could climb that high, and what's going on right now that might support such a move or not. You see, the crypto landscape today is not the same as it was in 2024. There are a few new ingredients in the mix that could fuel an XRP rally. Let's start with the ETF mania. Now, if you haven't been following, or maybe you have been following the crypto news, then you will know that there is a buzz around exchange-traded funds, ETFs for crypto. In fact, just recently, the first ever Solana and Litecoin and 𝗕𝗘𝗪 ETFs went live, and they saw record-breaking trading volumes out of the gate. So what does that matter? Or at least why does that matter? Well, it actually shows that big institutional money is itching to get into crypto via traditional investment vehicles. Now, imagine an ETF or an XRP ETF. A lot of XRP supporters believe that if an XRP spot ETF does indeed get approved, or even gets through by default, the influx of new investors could push XRP into double digits pretty quickly. Even without a dedicated XRP ETF, the broader acceptance of crypto ETFs means more money is flowing into major coins anyway. However, as excited as people are, we have to note, there is no official XRP spot ETF just yet, and any approval timeline is a little uncertain. Still, the mere expectation of it could drive speculative buying. It's a big if, of course, but it's on the table now more than ever before. Then we've got institutional adoption and Ripple's expansions. Right? Beyond ETFs, there's chatter about institutions quietly accumulating XRP. Think banks, fintech firms, and even corporate treasuries. Some believe that companies are starting to hold XRP in their reserves, maybe to use in cross-border payments or just as an investment. And at the same time, Ripple, the company associated with XRP, has been expanding its global partnerships. They're working on central bank digital currency projects, signing deals in Asia and the Middle East, you name it. Right? This kind of fundamental growth, it can set the stage for a price surge. Now, if a headline breaks like Fortune 500 company adds XRP to treasury, or major bank using XRP for settlements, you can bet that the market would react. In short, real-world usage and institutional interest are wildcard factors that could support a run towards that $21 dream. Now, it's not just memes and hype anymore. There are some fundamental things underpinning this idea. Then there's community momentum. Now, we can't ignore the XRP Army itself, right? This community is legendary in crypto. It's passionate, it's persistent, and it's huge, right? Social sentiment doesn't directly equal price, but it does create a kind of pressure and awareness. So when millions of people are fired up about XRP, it can have indirect effects, more social media trends, more newcomers learning about it, and sometimes a self-fulfilling prophecy vibe. Now, Bitlord called XRP's community one of the largest on Earth for good reason. Their collective belief is not enough to kind of hit $21 alone, but it certainly helps create the buzz that attracts outside investors during a rally. Now, all that sounds great: ETFs, institutions, community. But let's be real. None of it guarantees a $21 price, but the overall market is still pretty cautious right now. We've had a decent run, but it's not full-blown euphoria. Bitcoin's doing its thing, and yes, XRP has been on a run towards that $2 to $3 range, but 700% more, is a pretty big ask, right? Many analysts, even bullish ones, are tempering expectations. Now, as I speak, plenty of seasoned traders doubt XRP can repeat the 2024 style explosive run in the current climate. The phrase that I keep seeing is actually cautiously optimistic, right? Which sums up my own stance quite well. I hope for the best, but I'm also planning for more moderate scenarios. And speaking of planning, this whole discussion got me thinking beyond just the price. It made me do a double check my own crypto game plan. So if, by some wild chance, the XRP did skyrocket towards $21, I would be prepared to take advantage of it. Are you prepared? It's not just about holding XRP anymore, it's actually about the logistics of it too. Now, here's a tip from my own experience. Have multiple exchanges set up and ready to go. Seriously, when crypto, flips the world, so to speak, well, exchanges, they can go down, can get overloaded, and can even suspend new signups. Now, we saw this in past bull runs, people scrambling to open up accounts or recover passwords during a pump. It just isn't fun. I personally follow a plan A, B, C kind of approach for these exchanges. I've signed up, KYC'd, and tested several different crypto exchanges that I trust. Why? Because you never know when exchange 1 might freeze withdrawals or just crash under heavy load. Now, if that kind of does happen, then I can quickly move to exchange number 2 or number 3 just to manage my trades or take some profits. Now, this strategy has saved me a ton of stress before, and I highly recommend it. It's like having multiple exit routes in traffic, right? Better safe than sorry. To make it much easier on everyone or anyone who wants to do the same, I've actually put together a list of all of the exchanges that I personally use on my website. The link for that is in the description below. Now, all my affiliate links are on that website for convenience, but here's full transparency. Right, these are affiliate links, meaning that if you do use them, it supports the channel here. I get a small kickback and it costs you nothing extra. It's a win-win situation because you might also get the ability to sign up and get some sign-up bonuses or some free discounts via those links. And I only include exchanges that I've actually vetted and I actually use myself. So after all of this research, reminiscing, and of course planning, where do I stand on this whole XRP to $21 question? Well, honestly, in somewhere in the middle, actually, right? A part of me is a bit of a skeptic when it comes to $21 and it might be out of reach in that shorter term. But, that it might be a myth or maybe even a meme target, right? As the commentators said. But another part of me remembers 2024, right? Remembers being proven spectacularly right, but wrong for others, right? When people underestimate XRP. Now, that part of me who looks at the ETFs, looks at the institutions that are sniffing around, and they kind of never die kind of XRP community, right? And I think, maybe it's just not that impossible. So here's what I do know. Crypto has a way of surprising everyone, right? The moment that you think that something can't happen, it often does. So when XRP flips the world at $21, Maybe, maybe not, right? If it does, well, I'm going to be cheering, right? Probably tweeting in all caps or something like that. And if it doesn't, hey, then I'm in this for the long haul anyway, and there will be other rallies in the future. The key is that I've prepared myself for either outcome here, right? I've got my knowledge, my plan, and my community. And speaking of community, this conversation doesn't have to end here, right? I want to hear from you guys. Do you think XRP has a shot at $21, or is this all just hype? Come and share your thoughts or vent your doubts in our free educational Discord server. The link is in the description, and it's an open invite to everyone. Now, we've got a whole bunch of friendly folks who love talking about crypto, sharing the news and debating predictions, you name it. It's a great place to keep learning and to stay grounded. And yes, we celebrate our wins and laugh off all the crazy rumors together. No matter what happens with XRP's price, the journey has been a blast to share. Right, we took a wild claim, we examined it from all sides, the skepticism, the history, future catalysts, right? And even wove in a few life lessons for staying prepared. Now, in the end, whether the $21 prophecy comes true or not, I hope that you've enjoyed coming along on the ride and got some value out of this, and maybe even just a bit of entertainment. If you have enjoyed this little adventure with me today, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I've got plenty more stories just like this. The investigations and of course the crypto craziness will be coming your way. So hit subscribe, join me in the next one. I'll see you soon.